Rockbreakers. February 19th, 2984. Deep in the asteroid belt. The Calliope cut a slow path through the asteroid belt, her fusion torch drives flaring weakly in the dark. She wasn't a beautiful ship, nor was she fast, but she was reliable. A prospector-class mining vessel, built to endure years of hard labor without complaint. Inside, the air carried the familiar blend of metallic tang, recycled oxygen, and machine grease. The ship hummed with the sound of working systems, ventilation, power conduits, the distant grind of the refining bays breaking down the last hull. Captain Elise Vargo sat in the cramped bridge, her boots propped up on the console as she reviewed AstroCorp's latest directive. Another rock, another day's work. This one, AstroCorp claimed D-923, was a medium-sized nickel-iron asteroid with traces of platinum. Nothing extraordinary, but enough to keep the corporate overlords happy and the paychecks coming. Vargo exhaled through her nose and tapped the ship-wide intercom. "All right, folks, we're moving in on the next claim. Let's get to it." She killed the channel and glanced to her right, where Elliot Sato, Calliope's pilot, leaned forward in his chair, hands dancing over the control panels. The blue glow of the navigation display cast sharp shadows over his features. "Bringing us in," Sato said, eyes locked on his instruments. "Rock's got a bit of a tumble. Nothing I can't handle." Vargo gave a small nod. Sato was arrogant, but he earned it. As the ship crept closer to the asteroid, Lena Ortiz, their mining operations officer, chimed in from her station. "Getting surface readings now. Nothing unusual, solid rock, no major pockets of gas this time." She shot a smirk at Garrick Zhao, the ship's lead engineer. "Should be smooth drilling." Garrick grunted. "I'll believe that when I see it." Vargo smirked and tapped her console. "All right. Prep the drones and fire up the pulse drills." Another day in the belt had begun. The grappling drones detached from Calliope's underbelly, firing their maneuvering thrusters as they latched onto the asteroid's surface. They adjusted its slow rotation, ensuring it wouldn't drift out of alignment mid-operation. Down in the mining bay, Garrick stood near the pulse drill controls, monitoring the power feeds. The drills themselves, towering machines attached to the ship's ventral side, rumbled as their diamond-tipped heads began their slow, relentless grind into the asteroid's crust. "Drills are running at 80% power," Garrick called up to the bridge. "Holding steady." Ortiz watched the data stream on her holo display. "We should be hitting the first deposits in 20 minutes. Vargo glanced at the numbers. "A decent yield, though nothing special." "Keep an eye on thermal buildup," she reminded them. "Last thing we need is another overheating incident." Ortiz snorted. Yeah. We're not melting another drill head." Garrick shook his head. "Tell that to the Rock." Vargo left them to it. Down the corridor, she passed Marcus Holloway, the refining specialist, standing in the processing bay as raw ore began flowing in from the mining arms. He nodded in quiet acknowledgement as she walked by, already setting up the separation process. Further in, she found Ishan Verma, their medic, running a diagnostic on the emergency EVA suits. His job was quiet until something went wrong, which, in mining, it always eventually did. "How's the health of my crew?" Vargo asked, leaning against the bulkhead. Ishan barely looked up from his scanner. "No concussions, no punctured lungs, no one crushed by a rogue boulder, so I'd say you're all doing just fine." She chuckled. "I'll take that." For hours in, the operation was running smoothly. The drills had broken through the upper layer, tapping into rich veins of nickel and platinum. The refining bays were churning out compacted ingots, and the crew had settled into the quiet rhythm of the work. Then the alerts started flashing. Ortiz sat up straight, frowning at her display. Cap. I'm seeing a pressure variance near drill 2. "Define variance," Vargo said, already moving back to the bridge. "Small cavity about 5 meters down. Looks like." A deep, resonant thump shuddered through the ship. "Damn it," Garrick swore over comms. "We just punched into a gas pocket." Vargo grabbed the console. "Damage. Pressures equalizing, looks stable," Ortiz reported, hands flying over the controls. "Gas cloud venting into space." No cracks in the rock. Sato let out a low whistle. That could have been ugly. Garrick grumbled over the comms. We're lucky it wasn't bigger. Vargo exhaled. A minor incident, but a reminder of how quickly things could go wrong. Keep drilling, but slow it down, she ordered. Let's not take any chances. By the end of the shift, the asteroid had given up its bounty. Calliope's cargo holds were half full, not the best haul, but far from the worst. The crew ran post-op checks, sealing off the drilling sites and retracting the equipment. Up in the galley, most of the crew had gathered, the hum of machinery replaced by the murmur of conversation. Ortiz leaned back at her seat, boots kicked up, while Garrick nursed a cup of instant coffee. That pocket of gas could have blown out a drill head, Ortiz said, still thinking about it. Lucky it vented sideways instead. Garrick gave a dry chuckle. Luck is the difference between an easy paycheck and a salvage crew picking through our wreckage. Sato shrugged. Rockbreaking's never been safe. If it was, they wouldn't pay us so damn well. Vargo sat at the head of the table, arms crossed, letting them talk. Moments like these were important, times when they could breathe, joke, and forget they were trapped inside a metal box drifting through the void. Amara Cowrie, Astrocorp's corporate liaison, cleared her throat. I'll send the yield report to HQ. They'll probably route us to the next claim by tomorrow. No one looked particularly thrilled at that. Ortiz sighed. Another rock, another day. Vargo smirked. Wouldn't have it any other way. Outside, the asteroid they had just gutted drifted quietly in the dark, one of countless others in the endless sea of stone. The Calliope ignited her drives, turning toward the next claim, the next haul, the next day in the belt. Business as usual.